Hi guys, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Thursday? I think it's Thursday. So I was teaching my class with my friend Katie today, and today's topic was forgiveness. And so as I was researching some things, I found some great stuff, and I'll put the links in here. But Kirk Duncan is one of my personal favorite mentors of all time. He's like amazing. And so I listened to his videos, and I kind of like just captured from all of them some of the things that were just mind blowing, and they're so simple and they're so like easy to do. This is not like hard, but one of the things that is really important to learn with forgiveness is that hurt doesn't have a timeline. Like if you are hurt by somebody and you have that hurt, it actually ends up in your body, in your cells, in your DNA. It becomes a part of you. And so when you think of it, it's not like, oh, that happened 20 years ago. Nope. In the moment, you're feeling that pain as if it happened right now. And so the important thing to remember about forgiveness is that the gift is for you. And the tools that I'm going to share with you are so that you can move forward and so that you can relieve that pain. And our bodies don't understand when it happened. They just understand that it did, which is why it feels like it just happened. So it's important to release this. It's important to take the steps to help your whole body feel better. Okay. So how to recover from the hurt personally is again, Kirk Duncan, go look up his videos. They're pretty amazing. The first thing he says is to express the hurt. And I've actually done this for years and years, but to express it, there's a couple of things that you can do. The first way is to actually write it down, which is why I have journals and journals and journals and journals of things. And these are not writings that you share with the person that you are upset with. These are writings that you write to dump it out. And so you need an outlet inside of you for the hurt so that it can drain out. So he gives the example of you like a 55-pound barrel of water, because when we think of emotions, they are pretty fluid, and we use water analogies a lot, right? And so it's so cool because he talks about how, imagine it's this full barrel of water. Well, if you open up the spigot at the end, it's going to start just spraying. I mean, like aggressively, like just shooting out, right? That's kind of how you feel with all these emotions. It's like, oh my gosh, it's never going to stop. Well, what happens is when some of the pressure is released and that water level goes down or that emotion level goes down, you're able to, at the end, be able to think more clearly. And then if you want to talk to the person, you can. And if the person's not even available to talk to, or they're not in a place where they would even hear you, you don't have to. I love my flies all around. Kids left the door open. Anyway, so writing. So this is where you're just going to say whatever you want to say and just dump it, right? So if you are not a writer person, the other way that you can express this is through talking and walking. Meaning you go on a walk and you talk to yourself. You can go with a friend, but here's the thing. Sometimes what we do is we will actually take that energy and we dump it on the other person. And the other person, if they don't know how to protect themselves from your negative energy, will end up getting it on them. And you don't want that. You don't want to dump on your friends, right? This fly is driving me nuts. There's like 2 in my office right now. Anyhow, so walk and talk, get it all out. This is not where you sugarcoat it or be like, but I understand you didn't really mean to. No, this is where you're just full force getting it out, right? The second part of this, so the first part was to express yourself, right? By writing or by verbally talking it out. The second thing is to nurture your body. So as you have these toxins built up in your system, it can cause dis-ease. So disease gets built up because of these stored and trapped emotions. Your body literally remembers all of this pain and will store it in your cells. And so things that you can do to help nourish your body and nurture your body is, there's 3 things. There's more, but one of the things is massage. And so because you're moving toxins out of your body, there's lymphatic drainage, there's all different kinds of things. Now, if you can't go get a massage, just have somebody massage your hands and your feet and your head. Or there's a lot of things. People can just play with your hair. Just having the body send the message that it's safe is a really big deal, which is why when I do tapping, remember we do tapping, it sends the body the message, I'm safe. Okay, I'm safe. I can do this. Because the part of our brain that doesn't have language is the croc brain. It's like the fight or flight. It's the survival brain. It's like talking to a dog and saying, now, Mitzi, I didn't want you to eat my shoe and you ate it anyway. That was naughty. The dog doesn't know what you're saying. The dog picks up on tone and stuff. And that's the part of the brain we're talking about, is the part that just says, how am I feeling? Okay, he's mad at me. He's happy with me. And so we use like a gentle touch. So just remember, like, touch is a really powerful way to kind of move things through. Another way is to soak in a tub, get in some Epsom salt. And those Epsom salts will help to draw out the impurities. Another way is to actually just get into nature. Nature is a very healing place. It's really good for the body. It's just full of love. I mean, it's like Mother Nature, right? It's like nurturing. And so when you sit there, you will just automatically have all of these things recycled out of your space, and it will help to relieve the body of all these toxins. So the third thing that you can do when you're recovering from hurt from another person is to write down the lessons learned. What did you learn from that experience? Because if you can find the purpose in the pain, it won't seem like a waste to you. Whereas if you just look at it as like, oh, well, I just, got hurt. Okay. But if you can find the golden nuggets, if you can find out where you learned things, then that pain will not be there as much, right? So those are just some tips on like, how do you forgive another person? Now you can go way more into depth on this. And again, I'll post the little video links in here, but, oh, look my picture. I love that picture. How to forgive yourself. So let's just say you were on the giving end of that hurt and you did something that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. So one of the things is when you don't forgive yourself, you start to build these walls and these blocks around yourself, and you start to create this story about the kind of person you are. And it can be good or bad based on what you're feeding yourself. And so the first thing is how do you see yourself? Like if you yell at your kids or your husband or your wife or a coworker, you start to build the story of, oh, I'm such a bad mom, I'm such a bad dad, I'm such a bad wife or husband. Like, oh, why do I always do that? Like you start to build this story. And so if you want to catch it, there's a few things that you can do. So obviously you're going to ask forgiveness, and it's not just going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. There's actually going to be like, I yelled at you. Will you forgive me? So you're not just saying I'm sorry, because that doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, but will you forgive me and what can I do? And so this is the part where you're going to get involved with the story. And Kirk talks about this. So when you get involved with the story, if you don't get involved with the story, you leave it unfinished. And so you will continue to repeat the pattern over and over. So it's like, wow, if you don't do anything, so there's no retribution, there's no, trying to show the person that you've changed and doing something that shows them like that you're actively trying to change it, then you're going to keep repeating those patterns. And it will also change the story of how you see you and how that person sees you, because you want to change the kind of person that I am is someone who does this, not this, right? Like we want to give ourselves good words, which is why I listen to about 5 recordings a day of myself telling myself really, really good things about myself every single day. How loved I am, how important, that I'm doing good in the world, that I'm, serving, that I'm loving, that I'm Christ-like, like all these different things, like a spiritual, a money one, a body one, a family one. I have one for just my husband. Like I have these recordings so that I can give myself and feed my mind the things I want to hear, because you guys, in the world, we are fed so much toxicity about who we are and that we are mess ups and that we're not enough and all these things. And so you've got to have something to combat that. So yeah, again, how you see yourself, how you speak about yourself, the emotion that you feel about yourself, and then what are you going to do? So those are the things. And I love this. Forgiveness doesn't happen until you change the story of yourself. So when we're trying to like make changes, or even asking forgiveness or needing to forgive, we have to change the story about that person as well. We have to change the story of who they are to us. And so that way it doesn't continue on that repeat. And so then It's not to say that you can't go and talk to that person, but until you're at like a level 0 with your emotions about it, you don't do it. Keep writing it down every single day, the things that are bothering you, and utilize that tool to clear your own stuff before you bring it to the table. Because otherwise what happens is you bring all this baggage and you're not thinking clearly, and you're just going to start a fight, and it's never going to resolve, right? So those are some cool things that I learned today and that I actually got to teach today. I am so excited for the opportunity to kill these flies as soon as I'm done. They're just like loving this. And yeah, I hope that helps you. It's a good tool. It's really been helpful to me. And I didn't know this, but I get a massage every single month, and I probably need more. And I'm always touching my kids too, like as they go to sleep. Like it's kind of one of those things that helps them to relieve the stress and the pressure and all of those different things. So have fun. I hope you have a great day. And I'm going to go deal with my swarm of flies.